Hey everyone, on today's video we're going to be running you through everything you need to know about the all-new Marin bike's Alpine Trail. Before we get started with all the specs that you can find on the different models, I wanted to talk a little bit about the frame that's of course consistent through all three models. Now the previous Alpine Trail had 150 in the rear and 160 up front in terms of travel, whereas this bike has been upped 10mm front and rear, so you'll find 160mm travel in the rear with 170 in the front, which I think is a real nice touch. I rode this new one in Marin recently. You could definitely notice that extra 10mm travel front and rear, so really liking that. The other main changes that people have been talking about on this bike is the sheer level of adjustability that you can get on this bike. There's actually 12 different configurations you can have, courtesy of 3 different head angle options. The option to run mullet, 29 in the front, 27.5 in the rear, or just to go full 29. As well as some adjustabilities in bottom bracket height and chainstay length. Now before we get into the specs of the 3 different models, I also wanted to tell you about this other little nice touch that Marin have introduced, and that is of course this down tube storage system. If you're like me and don't like taking bags out riding, this is a really cool touch. In short, the all-new Alpine Trail gives you more travel front and rear, which I absolutely love, along with all these different adjustability options, giving you, the rider, the ability to tailor this thing to exactly how you want it, whilst being safe in the knowledge that all the general principles and geometries and angles are going to be maintained, allowing you to have a good ride in every different configuration you might choose. The Alpine Trail is available in 3 different spec models and price points. There's the Alpine Trail 1, the Alpine Trail XR and the Alpine Trail XR AXS, which takes its name from some of the bling wireless SRAM parts you're likely to find in it. So that's of course the frame that's consistent in all 3 models, but we now thought we'd use this as an opportunity to run you through the exact specs that you'll actually find on the different models. So on the Alpine Trail 1 you will find a Fox 36 Rhythm 170mm fork with a Fox Float Performance rear shock in the rear. And on the Alpine Trail XR, as well as the Alpine Trail XR AXS, it comes with this lovely 170mm RockShox Zeb Ultimate fork. And on the rear, the RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Coil Shock. Moving on to the drivetrain, on the Alpine Trail 1 you will find an FSA Comet heavy duty crankset coupled with a 12-speed Shimano Dior setup with a 1051 tooth range. And on the Alpine Trail XR that we have here, it comes with a SRAM GX Eagle 32 tooth front chain set with a 12-speed SRAM GX Eagle shifting and gearing, which will give you a 10 to 52 tooth range. Whereas on the very bling Alpine Trail XR AXS, you will find SRAM GX AXS 12-speed wireless shifting. Moving on to wheels and tyres, you can expect to find on the Alpine Trail 1 Marin double wall rims with Shimano hubs coupled with V tyre snap WCE tyres. Whereas on the XR and XR AXS models you will find Marin double wall rims with Marin hubs coupled with Maxxis Asseguys front and rear. Moving on to brakes, on the Alpine Trail 1 you'll find TRP Slate Evo brakes with 200mm rotors front and rear. And with the Alpine Trail XR that we have here, that comes with SRAM DB8 brakes with 200mm rotors front and rear. With the XR AXS coming with SRAM Code Bronze brakes, again with 200mm rotors front and rear. Now moving on to the cockpit of these bikes, on the Alpine Trail 1 you can find the 780mm wide Marin mini rise bars. Those bars are a 5 degrees up sweep with a 9 degrees back sweep, coupled with a nice Marin bike's 35mm forged stem. Whereas on the Alpine Trail XR and XR AXS you will find this really nice 800mm Marin bike's alloy bar, which has a 5 degree up sweep and an 8 degree back sweep, and that's coupled with a really nice 35mm CNC Marin bike stem. Whilst on the topic of cockpit, it's also worth noting all 3 of these models will come complete with these Marin Grizzly grip that have this lovely little thumb indentation that gives you extra comfort and extra grip while out in the trails. All 3 models come with the Marin Speed Concept saddle, as well as this very simple yet effective Trans-X dropper post setup, giving you a 150mm to 200mm drop depending on the size of the frame. So there we have it, that is the all new Marin Bikes Alpine Trail range. If you do have any questions about what we've talked about or anything about this bike, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below and either myself or someone from the Marin team will be more than happy to help. But in the meantime, thanks as always for watching and we'll catch you next time.